difference. Look at the difference in star power between then and now. Okay, you think the WWF doesn't want that? You think they don't want the star power they had back then? Of course they want it. But the thing is, it's not about them wanting it or not. It's about them not being able to get it. Which brings us to one of the most popular misconceptions and exaggerations among many wrestling fans today, which is the WWE is some kind of superstar generator, that they create the best characters and the other companies steal them. Bullshit, okay? Because if you look at history, history will show you that while the WWE has been very good in promoting its characters and giving them exposure, it is completely incapable, almost completely incapable of creating them. Okay? Some of the biggest stars, the biggest names you can think of in WWF, WWE history, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, The Ultimate Warrior, The Rock, Bret the Hitman Hart, Austin, were actually not products of WWE creative, but rather the products of other promotions or the wrestlers themselves. Okay, let's go down the list. Hulk Hogan, his babyface persona was not created in the WWF, but rather in the AWA. The AWA is where the platform where Hulk Hogan's babyface persona for what eventually would become Hulkamania was built, where the foundation was laid down. And he was drawing as a huge babyface, and only then did Vince McMahon call him, convince him to come over, and give him the national exposure that put him over the top. Okay, the same goes for Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant was drawing large crowds long before he ever set foot in a WWF ring. The Ultimate Warrior, his whole gimmick was created long before he entered the WWF, when he was the Dingo Warrior, and partially when he was in the Blade Runners. It was in those places where his face paint, his armbands, his whole character persona, the profile was being built. Okay? Now let's look at Stone Cold Steve Austin. When the Stone Cold Steve Austin first came to the WWF, they tried to make him into the ringmaster. They gave him the $1 Million Championship, and he was intended to be the next Ted DiBiase. Okay? It was only after he was able to shed that image, his wife, then wife, came up with the name Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was only after he shed that image that he was able to return to his previous persona. The persona of Stone Cold Steve Austin existed long before he entered the WWF, when he was in WCW and when he went to ECW the year before. Remember his rants against Hulk Hogan and other people in ECW? That was pure Stone Cold Steve Austin persona long before the name Stone Cold or the Ringmaster existed. Okay, the WWE has a long history of giving wrestlers stupid personas that they have to work to shed before they are capable of getting over. Look at Bret the Hitman Hart. Have you seen the Bret Hart DVD? They tried to make Bret Hart into a cowboy. They wanted to make him ride down on a white horse. It was only his effort to avoid this ridiculous gimmick that the Hart Foundation came about. The Hart Foundation was the idea of Bret Hart. Okay? The same goes for Razor Ramon. When Razor Ramon came into the WWF, they tried to make him into like a soldier or something like that. I think some kind of ridiculous gimmick. Okay? It was only an effort to escape that stupidity that he came up with his Tony Montana inspired Razor Ramon. Okay? Which is a modified version of the Diamond Stud. The platform for Razor Ramon, the character, was built in WCW as the Diamond Stud, where he developed the hair, developed the gestures, and it was him, Scott Hall, and Tito Santana that came up with the name Razor Ramon. Okay, same goes with The Rock. When The Rock came in, they tried to make him into this golden boy, this Boy Scout, this third generation wrestler, Rocky Maivia, and the crowd booed the crap out of him. Okay? And not only did the crowd boo, he was made to smile and wave at the crowd as if they were cheering. Imagine how painful that was. It was only after the WWF was willing to break the chains and let The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, grab the mic and let the crowd know how he felt about their reaction, that his charisma came out, his potential came out, and he went over the top. Okay? The biggest characters in the WWF in its history are products of the wrestlers themselves and other promotions where the platforms were built. The only arguments you can make in favor of the WWF characters that they built as a company from scratch are probably The Undertaker, Triple H, and maybe Brock. But that's it. Okay? Other than that, your favorite WWE stars were made somewhere else or not by the WWE creative. Okay? So let's cut that bullshit about the WWE creates the characters and all the companies steal them. Okay? Because it is only when the WWE leverages the ideas of other promotions or lets the wrestlers be themselves that big name stars, big name characters are developed. When the WWE creates stars themselves from scratch, you get characters like John Cena, Umaga, Nails, Henry Godwin, Aldo Montoya, the Red Rooster, and the Truth Commission. Okay? When the WWE lets the wrestlers do their own thing, you have potential for great things. But when they try to shove their own created visions down our throat, history has shown that that's another story.